won it's a medal at the Olympics, and is amazing. I was at the press conference. My God, it was like a hero's welcome when when Nico was there. And tell me a little bit about some of the pressures that he's going to be facing going into this fight, because this is a big deal for him.
Well, like anybody that's making a debut in their home market, it's probably not the most advisable thing that you can do. It's very challenging because of all the distractions. You got to get friends and family tickets, and everybody wants to come, and everybody wants needs a ticket. So all that stuff can be very distracting. But hopefully he'll put all that behind him, and Nico will have a great outing. It's just tough. He's in the main event in his hometown, making his debut on national television. If that's not pressure, I don't know what is.
Now, I chatted with his opponent at the press conference, and I don't know why this is, but I always secretly want the guy that is going up against the big name, in this case Nico. I always want that guy to do, I don't want him to win, but I want him to do extremely well. He could be a major spoiler. That this kid is from Vegas. He's doesn't have a real good winning record, but he looks like he could give Nico a fight here.
Well, I think Patrick Gutierrez has got six. I think he's got. Can't remember. He's got a real good. He's got a lot of power.
Yes.
Here's the thing. It's real simple. He's also on national television. He's also trying to establish his body of work. He's also trying to get noticed and get more bookings, more fights to make more money.
Yes.
So he's got a great deal of motivation, and quite frankly, it's the old scenario where it's us against the world. It's it's like Barry Switzer used to take his Sooners on the road. It was us against the world type thing, and they generally responded to that pretty well. But I would say that this young man's got a puncher's chance of winning, and stranger things have happened. He has everything to gain and nothing to lose in this fight. The main event guy, the fellow that's challenging Nico, Patrick Gutierrez,
yes,
is not expected to win. And when you go into a fight, if you're thinking that, I'm thinking that, is Nico thinking that? And if he is, then it only takes one punch with an 8-ounce glove to put you down.
Yes. Now, we're talking with Jim Ross today. He's going to be part of the broadcast team March 25th in Wichita, Kansas at the Kansas Star Casino. CBS Sports is bringing Knockout Night Boxing to the state of Kansas. And this is the one thing, and you mentioned it earlier about Nico fighting in front of his hometown and things of that nature. It was announced at the fight that CBS and Knockout Night had signed, I believe it was 4 fights with the Kansas Star Casino. And I would almost assume that Nico is probably going to, he wins this, he's probably going to be in most of them. What is sort of the drawback to being able to fight in front of your hometown? That's cool, but he's now expected, if he wins this fight, it's going to be sort of like David Rickles does with Bellator, where the only time you see David Rickles is at Kansas Star Casino, which is cool, but don't you think the fighter would want to fight other places? Kind of break that down and kind of explain a little bit more.
Well, I think Nico's still establishing his body of work. So he's a work in progress. Because he had amazing success in the amateurs, including the Olympics, is very, very admirable, and everybody should be very proud of that.
Yes.
But that was yesterday. He wasn't getting paid for that. Now he's doing this for a living. It's a whole different ballgame. So he's got to start all over. It's nice to have the medals. It's nice to have the accolades. And goodness gracious, they're well earned. But right now, it's a new day. So obviously, he'll probably want to fight elsewhere. But there's no better place to fight at home while you're establishing your game. And he's young, he's evolving. So for him to be able to have the luxury, if that comes about, to fight at home, then more power to him. He's getting a break there. So I know that the Neon Star people who I've done fights with before in Vegas and Cancun and other places, they told me that there's multiple fights coming to Wichita there at the arena, and so I'm excited about it. For me, because I live in Norman, it's one of the nice things. Small won't mean anything to anybody else when I say this, but when you do not have to get on an airplane and deal with TSA people and airline schedules and delays and all that stuff, is good. And I can drive from Norman right at I-35 to Kansas, and I'm in business. So I'm looking forward to that small little perk of these fights.
We've got Jim Ross with us today. He's going to be part of the broadcast team at Knockout Night Boxing, Kansas Star Arena, Kansas Star Casino on March 25th. Nico Hernandez making his incredible debut, going from Olympics to now professional boxing. One of the things that I noticed at the press conference, and even just talking to the promoter himself, was he wanted to make sure that this event was a combination of professional boxing, a little hint of professional wrestling, and also he wanted to have sort of like with the UFC where you can get up and touch the guys and talk to the guys and everything of that nature. This is an amazing experience, these Knockout Night folks, and I know you've been working with them for a little bit. Talk to us about the experience of broadcasting with them and also working with them sort of behind the scenes and fight week and things of that nature.
Well, it's a new company. Mike Garrow and John Anderson are the principals. They have a philosophy that I happen to agree with, because our fights on Knockout Night have always been the very, very best of the next level of fighters. In other words, these are young guys, many of them with great records, but they fought tomato cans.
Yes.
Now it's time for them to step up and fight people with similar skill sets to see who can evolve to the next level. And so therefore what you get is very highly motivated, passionate, skilled young men that are looking to make their way in pro boxing. So every fight's important. And then you add the element in of national television, CBS Sports Network.
Yes.
It's a cable outlet. It's going to go everywhere. And it's also going to be at 8 o'clock Central Time. So prime time television exposure for everybody on the card. So it's a really a good format, and the Neon Star guys have done a real good job of perpetuating this format. Hey, they're one of the top young fighters. I've had a couple of his fights in his young career. The Rooster.
Yes.
Nico Macias is an amazing prospect, and I was surprised. Of course, I understand why, but Nico could have just as easily been in the main event. But he's on the TV card, and boy, he has one gear and one direction, forward with evil intentions. He is an amazing young fighter, great kid. So this is really a good card. But again, the underlying thing is it's on national television, and so everybody gets a chance to do a big job interviews, basically, to see what you got. So I hope that we have a full house. I understand tickets are still available. I'd get them early, get them sooner than later, and but I'm very excited about making that little drive north of I-35 and being able to broadcast this show. What we hope will be first of many as this year goes on.
Yes. Now, take me through the prep work here. That you, I know, like with Sean, when I've talked to Sean in the past, when he's done stuff with Bellator, he's been overseas, broadcasting from Russia. Sean is just a tireless individual when it comes to prep work and the week of and things of that nature. What is your prep work like for these boxing shows that you do?
Well, I've got I'm looking at my notes right now and my printouts and everything. I will take a peek on YouTube or on video of the key fighters just to kind of get a feel for how they move. Yeah. I don't need to memorize their matches or their fights. I just like to see how they move. I like to see their timing, their what do they rely on the jab? Are they strictly right-handed, or do they switch hands? All that good stuff. But I generally do a lot more note-taking of these kids, and the key for me is the fighter meetings that we'll have there at the arena, or the casino, because there's where I get everything else I need, because these kids, like, you guys are very familiar with Nico in your market.
Yes.
Well, the other parts of the world aren't. They need to know who he is.
Yeah.
What journeys he's been on. Why is he in the main event? What about his amateur background, et cetera, et cetera. So it's up to me and my broadcast partners to tell you that story. Why should you be watching? Why should you care about this fighter? Who is this kid? And what makes him or her special, as it may be. So that's kind of where we are, and I do a lot of prep, but it's really it's the cherry on the sundae is when I can sit down across the table and look these young men in the eye and talk to them, and that's what I really look forward to doing. To me, it's about as much fun as even doing the fights, because it's a very open conversation.
Yes.
And some of these kids they're a little intimidated by the process.
I noticed that at the press conference. There was a bunch of them that were.
But they're just not accustomed to the spotlight. This is all new. And the other thing we'll interview every fighter that's going to be on television. We'll sit down in the fighter meeting, and we'll. It's not like a deposition, but I want to know all about them. How many brothers and sisters you got? When did you start fighting? What do you eat before the fight? How have you had a hard time making weight? How's your camp been? Are you married? You got kids? All this type stuff. And because I'll get a lot more information than I'll probably use, but I'd rather have too much is not enough. So I got to repeat myself over and over ad nauseum. So it's important for these fighter meetings are the key for me. But you mentioned Sean. Sean is an exceptional broadcaster.
Yes.
Who prepares very, very diligently, and we've done mixed events, we've done MMA, we've done wrestling together, we've done boxing. So I enjoy working with Sean because he never comes empty-handed. He's always prepared. And the play-by-play guy, and this is no different than me being a play-by-play guy in WWE or wherever it was.
Yeah.
I'm a point guard. I'm going to get my partners involved. And so that was one of the things. We'll call the action, not digress, not disrespect what the video is giving us, which a lot of pro wrestling does nowadays.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. and then get your partner engaged and use them. So it's a good deal. Sean and I really enjoy working with him. I know he's very motivated about this because, kind of like me, it's the drive. And
yes.
People say, what's the big deal about that? Hey, when you fly, like in my life, for 20 years, I was flying almost every week.
Yes.
And that gets to be old in a hurry.
Anyway, going on the road puts age on you, JR.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, with this event, I noticed at the press conference, from the athletic commission to the promoters themselves, everybody was putting Sean over like nobody's business. He is an integral part of bringing this boxing event to the Kansas Star, and it's going to be a heck of a blast having you guys call the fights and everything of that nature. Before I let you go, I have to get one professional wrestling question in. I apologize, but
all right.
Years and years ago, I'm of course a huge WCW fan. I've been a WCW fan since WCW started, and I mean like NWA Mid-South stuff. I always wondered, with the fact that WCW did a lot of stuff on TV and they did a lot of stuff on pay-per-view, why in the hell, when Sting had the title, did they take it off of him at a house show? Why didn't you just save that for a pay-per-view and Flair could just get it back from him?
Well, the consensus of that decision, whether it be right or wrong, was to send the message to the live event ticket buyers that if you come to a live event, anything can happen. including championships can change
Wow.
hands. That was the basic philosophy. And WCW wasn't the only. WWE did that back in the day too.
Yeah.
Because I booked those cards. So every now and then we'd have a title change on a non-televised title change, but
Yeah.
that has evolved now to where, everything's television, and it's just the philosophy has changed. But that was the general consensus, is that it was hard to get everybody on the booking committee to agree on lunch, much less who was going to be the champion. So I would just simply tell you, and it's not an exotic answer or an Oliver Stone-like answer.
Yeah.
It was simply on orders from from the administration. We got to do things to get our house show business, our live event business, back on track. And so the idea was, well, let's have a title change and not have any film of it or tape of it, and see if we can, create that mystique back in these live events. So whether it's a good reason or a bad reason is subjective, but that was the reason.
That's amazing, because it was like they had this build for Sting and Flair for that whole summer and that whole year that he was injured, and then he gets the title, and then he had some lackluster pay-per-view stuff, the Halloween Havoc fiasco with Sid and all that, and then we had the Starrcade match, and then they're like, well, let us take it off of him at a house show. It just always was weird to me.
In today's vernacular and parlance, it made no sense.
Yeah.
Then it was a mandate to, you guys got to do things to get the house show business back up, because it was a money stream that wasn't very prominent, but it needed to be. And so that was kind of the idea of how to make that happen. So, and it's nothing unusual. I mean, it happened back in the day a lot, but I agree with you. It was strangely timed, without question.
Yes. Well, Jim, I appreciate you taking time for us today, and looking forward to meeting you in person at the Kansas Star Casino March 25th. That will be Hernandez making his debut. History begins at the Kansas Star Arena. I appreciate you making time, and have yourself a wonderful week. Thank you, sir.
Sure will, buddy. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you there.
Definitely, man. Thank you. That, of course, was Jim Ross joining us on the power of Skype audio. And we're going to take a quick little commercial break and come back with more here on the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar Radio.